Okay, I think it's a very long session, but now we thank you very much, Professor Lisha. I have the pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Professor Pascal Bijot. He is the head of Cancer Genetic Departments à l'Université de Montpellier, France. And his topic will be about liquid biopsies and applicability in routine cancer management.
To go to this one and click on the left. Okay. No.
Okay. Okay. Doesn't hand it down. ثانية. ثانية واحدة افتح ابدل
I'd like to thank the organizing committee, especially Dr. El Ghazali and Dr. Ahmed Gabala for their confidence. I will start by a little bit of history. And this is the first representation of surgery instruments. You have to go to the temple of Kom Ombo and to make a 2,000 years trip. Then you can go 1,000 years after. And this is the first representation of, and the first concept actually of needle puncture by Al-Qasim, which he was the court physician of the Caliph of Andalusia. Then you can move 1,000 years after, and this is a French guy that invent actually the word of biopsy, which is a neologism from bio, life, and opsis, which is watch. And finally, I mean, here we come with recently with the discovery of DNA and especially ctDNA and the ability to detect it by NGS. I will focus my talk on circulating DNA, but liquid biopsy include cancer cells, exosomes, and other nucleic acid. Circulating tumor DNA, ctDNA, represent a subset of circulating DNA that you can find in the blood of healthy individuals. And it's probably coming from necrosis, apoptosis, and secretion of small fragments of DNA by cancer cells. But as you know, I mean, Joseph gave a talk on that before me. Genetic alteration help us in terms of diagnosis, in terms of prognosis of tumor, and in terms of treatment. And my talk is to see how can ctDNA could be applied for this proposal. I mean, the first field of application is a major goal in cancer research. It's screening. If you can be able to detect ctDNA at a very low level, you can be able to use it as a screening tool. Second, you can use it once you have a primary tumor to give conventional treatment or target therapies. You can also monitor the treatment by seeing the response or by detect early recurrences or metastases. At this point, we are able to analyze not only mutant DNA, but also abnormality of chromosomes, like translocation or deletion, variation of copy number, methylation of promoter, and the integrity of DNA. But detection of ctDNA is still difficult because you have to face a problem of mixity with normal DNA, and also because still the detection is limited in terms of sensitivity. I will not go in details in the methods to detect, but there is two main techniques to detect ctDNA. The first one is called digital droplet PCR. And the principle is to mix the ctDNA with reactive and to split the reactive in thousands of droplets that will be amplified separately. The second one is a technique derived from next generation sequencing. You make a library from the ctDNA and you amplify this library, and then you go through bioinformatics analysis and alignments of sequence with the normal sequences. So let's switch to the clinical application. And the first one is really screening. And you have a nice review about all the study dealing with this goal. Still, we have to face the problem of the sensitivity to be able to detect a very small amount of cells. And as you can see here, I mean, the level of circulating DNA is correlated to the volume of the tumor. But this is a goal that could be achieved because it is already efficient in other domains of the medicine, like detection of Epstein-Barr virus or detection of trisomy 21 in the maternal blood. Second, if you look at primary tumors, I mean, you can be able by ctDNA to have element of the prognosis or of the resistance to a chemo, or also at sensitivity to target therapies. So again, you have a wonderful review published recently in Nature. And you may know that detection of the mutation of EGFR in lung cancer is already effective and approved by FDA and by European Association. And you can use it for the use of tyrosine inhibitors in lung cancer. This is an example of the analysis we are achieving in an hospital close to mine in the south of France. But you can also use available device, and recently Roche have commercialized different type of ctDNA analysis. One is dealing with target therapies and the other dealing with monitoring. So talking a little bit about monitoring, I mean, you can be able to monitor your treatment, conventional or not, by the decrease of the level of your ctDNA, and you can be able to detect the early recurrence. And as you can see here, I mean, the increase in ctDNA is before the clinical symptoms. That was lung cancer. This is melanoma with BRAF mutation. You can also follow the response to the treatment. And finally, and so I will save at least 5 minutes, which is the good news. Finally, you can use ctDNA in metastasis. Not only for early detection, but as you can see also in this recent publication in Nature, you can use it to track the lethal clone of these patients, because there is an evolution in the clonal population of the tumor. And this is the signature of the most aggressive one, which is responsible for the death of the patients, which is very interesting in terms of concept. So this is my take-home messages. I mean, there is already approved ctDNA used for clinical application in terms of target therapies. It could be also used for monitoring tumor response, early detection of recurrences and MEST, and it is a very promising tool for personalized and precision medicine in the future. Atlas, this is my team in Montpellier. And in case you want to know a little bit more about genomic medicine, this is a meeting in Paris in June. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. تفضلي دكتور سامي.